Alright folks, motorcycle gear, jackets, pants, boots, underwear. It's our choice, but wearing gear statistically reduces the odds of being injured during an accident. Don't argue with me. And if you want to, just go in the comments. But yeah, don't argue with me. So what about gear mixed with a bit of technology? We already have motorcycles with safety tech like traction control and ABS, so why not take it a step further with our protective gear? I stopped by the Alpinestars booth at the International Motorcycle Show to find out their solution. It's called Tech-Air. Simply, it's a multi-sensor enabled vest that deploys an airbag in the event of a crash, but also has the footprint close to that of a t-shirt. It does stuff, peoples. Luckily, they had one available in person for demo. And this specific vest is based on Tech-Air 5, which is Alpinestars' latest edition of this system that monitors different variables with gyroscopes, accelerometers, and actually artificial intelligent algorithms and other stuff way over my head to determine whether or not a rider is experiencing a crash. And the brains itself is kind of like an IMU, or inertia measurement unit, on motorcycles, but it's actually called an ACU, which stands for Airbag Control Unit. And the ACU is rated to work in temperatures of -10 degrees Celsius up to plus 50 degrees Celsius. And that's 14 degrees and 122 degrees Fahrenheit respectively, which means that it could keep me safe even while riding through the Mojave Desert. But with the Tech-Air technology deploying an airbag from internal canisters in a maximum time of only 40 milliseconds, the result is an airbag system that deploys from the vest to reduce the possibility of injury caused by impact. And being that it's a vest, it will fit under any jacket as long as you have about 4 centimeters of clearance to allow the airbag system to deploy. And when it does deploy, hopefully you never need it, you can expect a decrease of the impact force by up to 95% compared to a passive CE Level 1 back protector. And the overall system offers the same protection as that of 18 CE Level 1 passive back protectors. That's pretty impressive. You're literally wearing the protection of 18 back protectors in this one unit. So you pretty much turn into a temporary human donut. And so I completely forgot his name, but John from Alpinestars was on site to explain this in more detail.
Our lineup on airbags is the Tech-Air 5. Our main focus in the past years has been the Tech 10, the older, not older, but the original race system and street system. But the new addition is a fully self-contained, autonomous upper body airbag system that can be worn with any current jacket you may own, motorcycle jacket that you own, either whether it be textile or leather. We do say that the system is worn under the garment because there is no abrasion resistance to it, and it requires about a 4 centimeter circumference on a leather jacket to allow for the expansion in the suit. Or in the jacket.
And this wasn't mentioned by John, but this technology was developed using data and testing from MotoGP for years. Then of course, once the tech matured and went through many iterations like the Tech-Air Race and Tech-Air Street, it was eventually introduced as this version, the Tech-Air 5. With constant research and development from these companies over the years, we end up with versions like this that are more slim and compact for everyday riding, because that's what most of us do, considering we don't all wear tracksuits every day. And the result is being able to wear this new Tech-Air 5 autonomous system, as they call it, under any jacket, which increases the versatility and appeal. This bit of tech isn't necessarily waterproof, so don't expect to run out there naked with it. So we know what it is now, but what type of events does it detect and how?
It has 3 accelerometers and 3 gyroscopes contained in the back hump here, along with the CE Level 2 back protector that's part of it. But contained in there is 3 accelerometers, 3 gyroscopes that are looking at an algorithm that's computing at a millisecond basis. So every millisecond, it's looking for an upset in that algorithm. So whether it be a low side or a high side in a traditional road scenario, it's going to deploy the system before you come in contact with the ground. The benefit to this street system is that it is armed as soon as you zip it up. With the LED indicators in the front here, you will see the battery life and the arming sequence. So when you zip it up, you'll see that it arms, put your jacket on, get on the bike, go riding. If you were to be at a red light and you were to get rear-ended, it's still armed and active to where it will deploy before the first recoil onto the motorcycle. Everywhere you see garment on this is actual airbag. So it is, we say, full upper body, chest, collarbone support, shoulder, midway down the arm, the entire back, and around the sides of the rib cage. When it does first deploy, it deploys in 25 milliseconds. The traditional blink of an eye is around 200 milliseconds to give you a reference, a time frame. When it does deploy, it's rock solid for 5 seconds, 5 whole seconds, and it gets about 2 inches thick. So a traditional crash, is about 2.5 seconds. So with that 5 whole seconds, you're well covered through a sliding and impact scenario. After that 2 seconds, it does self-deflate through the pores of the airbag and gives you the optimal coverage. When it is deployed, it still gives you dexterity in the arms for any safety use or having to be mobile.
So what's it like to wear? Well, the overall weight of the vest is minimal, with the ACU covered in a hard shell. So you can assume that it feels like it's not really there. But I couldn't tell you exactly how this thing works or feels from a review perspective with the canisters deployed, but we have Alpinestars here with the demonstration to show you how the system expands in real time. But keep in mind that real-time deployment would be a lot faster and instantaneous than forcibly making my friend here into a donut. But you'll still be a donut though.
So, are you ready? Yeah. So you'll see here, it's full shoulders, collarbone here, chest, on the sides for the ribs. You see the back, or the side view, you can really see how much growth actually gets in the volume of the body, with the full back and rib protection. Like I said, once that happens, you can still move your arms. So if you were to have to run over to a bike or help someone in need in a street scenario, you still have dexterity in the body.
As for runtime, you're looking at about 30 hours of riding before you need to charge it up. Yes, I said charge. It's a smart vest, people. But let's say you do forget to charge it the night before. In that case, it'll function just like a vest. But of course, having your jacket on top of it at least gives you some type of security. And even when you're not riding, the vest goes into a sleep mode, saving battery. You can keep an eye on all of that data from either the LED indicators on the jacket or via the Alpinestars app, where you can also update it when new algorithms become available. But with the word update, keep in mind that this system is always evolving, so it makes sense to update it when Alpinestars finds ways to make it better. So what happens when the canisters deploy after an accident occurs?
And it has 2 argon canisters in the back hump when deployed. So when you do have a deployment, you would ship, currently you would ship just the system to us in Southern California. For a small fee, we change out the argon canisters and ship it right back to you. We are working to that you could go down to your local Cycle Gear or Tech-Air certified retailer, and they'll be able to pack it for you almost same day.
And before anyone says it, you can't forcibly deploy the airbags by throwing the vest on the ground or of course running it over, since it has to be actively detecting the crash at the time. It's smarter than that, people. But of course, someone is gonna try anyway. But for the majority of us, it's not a problem. All of this said, I couldn't make this without bringing up some type of competition like Dainese with their D-Air system. Yeah, the name is super close, but it's just like Skynet in the vest with Alpinestars. But some differences between the two without going into underlying details is it lasts a few hours less and it can be worn on top of your jacket versus inside like the Tech-Air. So the D-Air system can be worn as a true vest, but again, if you don't charge it, you're without protection.
So how do you guys handle electric motorcycles?
One more time?
I said, how do you guys handle electric motorcycles?
So there is no tethers, there's no GPS signal, there's no sensors on the bike. Everything is fully self-contained. So if you were riding a bicycle fast enough, it would still react. Electric bicycle or electric motorcycle, it's still gonna be looking at the same algorithm as if you were to lose the front on the bike, or if you were to high side, or if you were to have a jolted impact.
Okay, so it's not detecting any vibrations or anything?
No, it does detect vibrations, but it's not looking at you to be on a specific aspirated motorcycle.
Okay, so the reason I asked this question is that when Dainese announced the D-Air system a few years ago, it too was built with accelerometers, gyroscopes, and a GPS to detect when you're physically moving. The problem here is that it detects motor vibrations when sitting still. So if you're on something other than a gas engine, you're gonna have a real bad day if you're hit while stationary because the vest won't be armed. Of course, with the Tech-Air 5 being able to deploy even while sitting still, it makes a better case here. But it's all about convenience, right? But how about something that's not so connected? That's where the headlight system comes in. Without all the sensors and algorithms, the headlight system airbag runs off of an analog pull and fire system. Downside to the headlight is always being tethered to the bike. Maybe this isn't a thing, but I'd be afraid of accidentally firing the system if I forgot to untether myself. But headlight claims that accidental deployments are rare. But at least you don't have to worry about batteries, right?
to talk on code. Yeah, I love this road so much. The big if comes down to whether or not the airbag system is actually going to deploy. Because with a back protector or chest protection, you know in an event of an accident, just like wearing a jacket, you're going to be protected. Oh yeah. So even if you did have the chest protection or the back protector and you had the vest, being that the vest goes under your jacket, if it decided to not deploy for whatever reason, or if your batteries died, because it does have to be charged, you would still be protected by your jacket. But the vest will need added protection. But of course, what good is the vest to you if it doesn't work, period, right? Because like right now, a deer could run out at any moment, a raccoon, a possum, or anything could run out. And next thing you know, you're hitting that animal and you're flipping off your bike. So at that point, the question is, will that airbag deploy and protect you in the event of that accident? Now, when it comes to like the Dainese or the Helite system, Dainese claim that this system can be worn without a jacket on. So you can wear it on top of that, on top of your jacket, or you can wear it on top of your t-shirt, giving you protection. Again, if it doesn't deploy for whatever reason, not saying that it won't, you don't have any protection. At least with the Alpinestars, it's under your jacket. So even if it doesn't, you know, you'll still be protected. But with something like a Helite system, where it's just a pull cord, when you're ejected from the motorcycle and a certain amount of, I guess, force is applied, that pull cord will deploy that airbag system for you. So that kind of takes all of the guesswork out of it, or the algorithms out of the equation, and it's just a standard old pull system that when something happens and that cord gets pulled, you will have that airbag deployed. The only thing is, if you get rear-ended sitting at a stoplight, I think it's less likely for that airbag system to deploy, because there's not going to be enough possible force ejecting you from the motorcycle per se to cause the airbag to deploy. You could just fall off of it, versus it being enough force to pull it, being like, I guess the motorcycle flies one way, you go one way, and it's enough to deploy that airbag. So all of those are definite considerations to think about when you're picking an airbag system. Oh snap, look at that. Oh my god, it's 4 of them. What? Dude, I was just talking about you. And there's another one. I don't know if you can see it. But just like that, in the event of stuff like that, a regular jacket would of course protect you, but an airbag system, or any kind of system, definitely will protect you in the event of running into something like that.
So who's it for? I'm gonna say I could see anyone wearing a Tech-Air, considering it fits under any jacket. Yeah, the charging is the downside, but that's to be expected with convenience now. So here's the question. Could you see yourself using something like this? It's definitely not a cheap product, coming in at the cheap price of only $699.95. Yep, that's why I saved the price for last. But you can't put a price on safety either, but you definitely could for convenience. And I know, Picasso. You know what I could do with $700 plus tax? Yeah, I know. I could probably eat all the food I featured on this channel many times over. But I truly do think that this technology is cool coming from all the players, as we see more and more innovations in our motorcycle community. And whether or not you like tech on motorcycles or the Tech-Air, making us safer while we ride is always a welcome in my book. And I'd definitely go for the Tech-Air 5 if I had the coins, simply because it's just there's added protection. But let me know what y'all think. And of course, I got links to all this in the description if you're curious, but reading your comments always gives me and others different perspectives, so definitely drop your thoughts below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button while you're at it, and I'll see y'all in the next one.